Oh, right. My guest today is a balloon storyteller, a health coach, and an opera singer. And today she's going to help me answer the question, can I just make my own talk show?
It's Dave Brenn, and the Dave Brenn Show. Yeah.
Apparently I can, and I just did. Thank you, Annie, for that lovely backing tunes. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Dave Brenn Show. My guest today is Annie Bannanie, and I am so excited. We're going to have loads to talk about. First of all, I want to say a huge thank you to all of the folks that are in my audience watching the live Zoom audience. If you want to be in the live Zoom audience, make sure you follow me on Facebook and Instagram. I post those up every week. And also, I send the links out to my Patreon supporters. If you want to support the show, go on over to patreon.com/DaveBrenn and support the show. I would absolutely love it. Thank you all for being here. Other ways that you guys can support the show, of course, is Dave Brenn Show merch. Check it. I'm wearing my Dave Brenn Show shirt. Is it a little bit of an ego trip that I'm on my own shirt? I don't know. We'll talk about it. We'll see. We got Dave Brenn shirts. We also have Dave Brenn Show drinking cylinders. Also, is it bad marketing that I always show the broken mug that I got from my merch store? It wasn't my merch store's fault. It was the Amazon guy. He was clearly not paying attention. Also, in the live audience today is another one of the show's sponsors, Pop's Trading Cards, which are selling these awesome Dave Brenn Show stickers. Look, it looks just like the real Dave Brenn Show sticker. Look, if I put them side by side, I mean, you can hardly tell the difference. That's a pretty damn good job, Pop's Trading Company. Pop's Trading Card Company, you probably know them if you are a balloon twister for their awesome trading cards with all of the balloon folks on them. This one, look at this, wrapped in plastic. My nails go clack, 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 clack on the plastic. I love it. Thank you for my awesome card. Later in the show, if I don't forget, I often forget, but I still have some unopened packets of Pop's Trading Cards right here, and I want to open those live on air and see who we get. Yay! So if you guys are excited to start the show, then I'm excited to start the show. And you know what? The one thing that this show always needs just a little bit more of, and I think you'll agree, slide whistle. You know, just when life starts to slide down, it always slides back up. I don't know. I'm still working on taglines for the slide whistle. If you guys want to throw some ideas in the comments section, I would absolutely appreciate it. But, ladies and gentlemen, that is enough messing around. It is time to get to the show. And, of course, that means it's time to introduce my guest today, Annie Bannanie, the balloon storyteller. Hello, Annie.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm trying to help somebody get in
Ooh.
to your thing. Okay, but I'm
Annie has been really helping, like, pump the show. She's been, like, sending out invitations, and she's, like, trying to get people in. Are they having a hard time, logging in or something?
I think that she's having a hard time using the Zoom link because it's not live on your thing. But I might be totally misunderstanding everything. I have very long conversations where neither person understands the other. And then,
this will be great then.
Yeah. I'm usually the one in the middle. Like, okay, what she's trying to say is, and they're like, oh yeah. But yeah, I'm not good at interpreting my own stuff, apparently.
That's okay. Well, Annie, before we start, first of all, just how are you? Just tell me how you're feeling these days.
I feel great.
Good. You look great.
My feet are kind of cold because the dog is on the blanket and I have the air conditioning on. Like, I'll be fine. I'll be like hot, and then my feet will be cold.
Right.
It's just a thing that happens with me. But I feel great. And is that light like really light, really too bright? Do you want me to go and turn it off? Okay.
It kind of like adds a little like mood, you know? It's like
a little pizzazz.
Yeah, it kind of looks like you're either that or someone in the background behind you is being interrogated.
There you go.
That's kind of fun.
A little bit of sinister action there. Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit of mood lighting, but interesting kind of mood we got going on.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I'm a particular fan of whatever is directly over your left shoulder.
Yes, I put those there for you guys. There's 2 of them. And so at the beginning, when everything was falling apart and we watched our business just disintegrate into thin air, it's very strange. I thought, okay, so what can I do that's positive right now?
Yeah.
Because you can't just go, everything's fine. It's fine. So yeah, you can look at the positive side of things and know that you're going to make it through. And, you know, I have this phrase, embrace the suck, but then, you know, don't let it live with you.
Right.
So you've got to acknowledge it, but
at the very least, charge it rent.
Right, exactly. And make it stay in the closet. But I thought, okay, what can I do that's going to be good for my spirit? And I thought, okay, I'll grow stuff. But I went and looked at the, like, when you get like flower pots and stuff, and they were like super expensive. I'm like, oh, well. So it was getting close to Easter time. So I was at one of those, like, the only places that were open were like the super Walmart or something. And normally I don't shop at Walmart. I don't like them, but it was like all that was open. So I went and I looked and I went, oh, wait, that's the size flower pot I want. And these were $1. And the flower pots were like 10 each. And so I thought, hey,
I love this. This is so good. That is also a thing that I struggle with too. I hate buying flower pots. Like $20 for a flower pot, sometimes more. Come on.
Well, it
and
gets
that's way
weirder.
cuter.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I love it. And there was another one. We put our onions in it. It's green and it's got like a different face. So I wanted a bunch. Like I bought a few of these particular ones and some other ones. But then what I did is I knew you had to have drainage, right? So I know a little bit about gardening. Okay, so I like got one of Buster's tools that he makes props with, you know, magic stuff. I don't know anything about it. But so I made holes in the plastic. Not in that one, because that's an indoor. That's for show. It's fancy. But so I thought, okay, so I'm going to grow stuff. And so I started growing stuff from seeds because they were the cheapest, because we had no idea if any money was ever going to come in, because, you know, Congress. So we're like, let's make this as cheap as possible. But if I don't do something, I'm going to lose my mind. All right. So I did this. And I kind of grew a bunch of weeds from seeds. And then I realized, I was starting to have some success. And then I realized, you know, I hate this. I absolutely hate gardening. I hate the fact that I have to go and make sure that these have water. I hate that the fact that it's not where I am. It's not by me. I have to go all the way to the back patio. And I realized that why would I do something that I hate? If there's enough in life that we hate, there's enough suck. So I just like literally left them out there to die like a mean person. Yeah. And so they're just dirt with dead plants in them now, and probably, but what I learned is it's okay that I hate to garden, and it doesn't make me less of a person, but it actually makes me more of an aware person, that I realize.
Well, I think you're a better person that you actually tried. Yeah. You know, because I mean, if you just never tried, then it'll be like, well, what's your problem? Do you just not like to try stuff? But you tried, and you realize that it sucks, and we move on.
And I've done it before, like I've tried before and then stopped, but I on purpose said no. Yeah, I'm gonna on purpose quit. Like I've never on purpose quit before. I just realized that it's been a week since I've given them any water, and now they're dead. Yeah. You know, oh, I'm a failure. No, I totally on purpose quit. Right. Like, I'm not a failure. I'm a choice. Yeah. So sorry, I don't really have a table. Sorry.
No, that's okay. That again.
On my knees.
I'm the one with the fancy setup here. I don't require that of anybody.
Good thing. You'd never have me guess.
Thank you. Well, thank you for being here. There were a couple things I wanted to ask you about or talk about. Some fond memories that I have of our friendship.
I can think of a couple too. Maybe some we can't talk about.
There's at least 6 that we can't talk about. So we're gonna.
I love that he's counted them.
Yeah. But my absolute all-time favorite is actually the very first time we met, because I don't know if you remember this at the Cerritos Jam. I had just moved to Southern California, and of course everyone was like, the whole internet was abuzz with what the heck is going on in Southern California, like all these amazing balloon twisters are there. And I was like, well, if I just go down there, maybe I'll be an amazing balloon twister. Let's see.
So he moves here.
So I moved.
Like,
I just
that's the
moved to
thing.
SoCal, and and I went to my first jam, and I met you, and I met Eddie was there, and Ken Shoot was there,
Yeah.
Melinda Campbell, a whole bunch of folks. And at this point, I had been twisting for like 10 years, but I had only used 260s.
Oh, and you were proud of that too.
Was I proud of it? I
think totally proud of that.
I was.
Why would you use anything else? 260s, they get the job done.
Right.
And you were almost gonna go into that like purist thing.
No. Oh no. I already hate me. I already hate me.
No. It was an artist purist thing. You had convinced yourself that that was the best way to go. Okay, keep going on. I just got to keep adding stuff.
No, we're getting to the point where it's all about you, which is, you essentially did the drug dealer move, which is, hey, see this little baggie? It was like a jam bag from Botalic or Politics with all the different sizes. It's like, check some of these out. And you handed me this bag. And it was the very first time ever that I touched a 350 in my life. And like I instantly was like, amazing. So, and at that jam, not only did you introduce me to balloons, but you also introduced me to what jamming is at all.
Right.
So I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about that, about like, what is jamming? Why is it so important? And how can we do it more?
Jamming is play.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the name came from jazz. And what you do in jazz is, I actually do have a jazz background. I know you said opera singer. They made me study opera when I was a music education major, which I loved, but like my true love at the time was jazz. And in jazz, everybody kind of gets a song because they all know, the chord progressions of, a standard. And then they play it kind of straight once, and then they play with it. And everybody gets their time to have their little solo. And sometimes it's just a little bit. And sometimes, depending on how much you're drinking or whatever, it's not going to sound anything like it. But if you listen to the actual, everybody's in the same key. And so they're going really crazy with it, but they're still elements of the same song. So you can get something that's really, really different, but still goes with it.
Right.
If it makes any sense. It's still, a variation of. And that's what balloons are. And whenever I host a jam, like if I'm teaching somewhere at a an event or anything like that, I like to make a rule that you're not allowed to make anything
Right. Which I remember you saying that specifically, and that freaked me out because, well, it was a great ego check because like I came to this jam because it was my first jam and I was meeting a bunch of new balloon twisters, and so I wanted to like show off what I know and like be cool. And then you like pointed out this rule of like, don't make something and I was like, oh, what do I do?
Yeah, like, how does that happen? Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
And it was great.
It's wonderful. And what gave me that idea, I remember this was years and years ago. I went to a jam in Colorado, where I'm from, and one of my good friends, and I won't call out who this is. He's not here. It's okay.
I think I know who it is.
Yeah. So one of my good friends, not someone I'm married to.
Oh.
Of course. No. This was actually before I knew Buster. And so we went to this jam, and he spent the whole night showing off what he could do. And he was good. And probably better than me. And then we're like walking out to the car or something, and he's like, I didn't learn anything. Like, because you were just showing off. Like, how do you expect to learn anything? And I thought about it later, and it wasn't even just about, like, I think it's because I've got that jazz background. I just always did that, where I would watch, I would be, first time I saw Buster, twist a balloon. I was nervous because I knew how good he was.
Right.
And I just watched him, and he's like, don't you want to twist along? And I'm like, no, I got it. And he thought I was like really good. I was just too afraid to twist in front of him. So apparently, with no real talent, he thought I was really good because I mean, I could figure it out, but that is only because I was trying so hard to impress him, and he was trying to impress me, so it worked out.
Right.
You know, we were impressed with each other.
It clearly worked out pretty well. Yeah. Yeah, that's great. Oh, and speaking of Buster, he will be on the show next week, so make sure you follow me on Facebook, Instagram, check out the Eventbrite for next week. The Dave Brenn Show will officially move into Halloween season starting next week.
You're a month late.
I know. I don't like to start early. You know, although as soon as we're done with Halloween, I'll immediately go into Christmas season just to stay with the current trends. But that's actually another story I really would love for you to tell is, you know, I think we all know as balloon artists, balloons are great at bringing people together. But would you be willing to share the story of how Buster won your heart with a balloon?
I forgot about this.
Do you know what story I'm talking about?
Probably.
The windshield wiper?
Yes. So I have to go a little bit farther back though, because we met at T-Jam, I think it was 2003.
Mm-hmm.
And we had kind of talked a little bit in like, you know, his class and on the couch, like in the room on the couch, not like on the couch, you know. Mm-hmm. But so we ended up at the No Balloon dinner. That's when it used to be a really small thing where just a few people would go. There were like 30 of us. Right. And nobody really knew about it except for, you know, just a few people, the instructors and stuff. And so we got to, you know each other a little bit there. And so he calls me a little while later, and we, you know, call and talk for a while. He's an interesting guy. And then about the third time he calls me, I realize, you know, he's like trying to set up a time to come and teach in Colorado. I'm like, yeah, this is great. And I had a friend help me out with it. And finally, when we got this settled, and he's like, hey, when I come out, can I take you to dinner? I'm like, oh, yeah. I didn't even know, right? I know. That's kind of how I felt. You do it much better than I do. So I was just like, sure, this is great. And because I thought it was like the crush was sort of one-sided. Right. You know, and I thought it was just like, you know, you get like a performer crush on somebody and you really respect what they do. My friend Suzanne Herring calls it a clown crush, where she get a crush on another clown.
That sounds really creepy.
Doesn't it? Yeah. Okay, so I think she stopped saying that, or maybe she just says it just because now it's funny and creepy. I don't know. She could probably be going either way. Yeah. But so, but yeah, I always think of it as a clown crush. But so he came out, and our first date was after he taught, and I came and picked him up in my car, showed him some of Colorado. We didn't know what to do, so we just like drove around a lot. And literally our first date was 12 and a half hours long. Wow. And none of that was actually like sleeping or anything. It was just like literally, we just kept thinking of more things we wanted to do. Wow. And it was one of the strangest dates, but we had a wonderful time. And so part of what I was doing is I was taking him up to northern Colorado, where it's like an hour north of my house. It's just really pretty up there. And there's a place up in the mountains where you can, there's a cool magic shop. And so I thought, hey, you know, he knows magic. We'll take him there. And on the way back, it started to rain, and rain really, really hard, which it does like once a year in Colorado. Like otherwise, sometimes it rains while it's sunny. It's really a strange weather pattern up there. So this was really weird for me to ever need the windshield wipers for more than a couple of minutes. So the windshield wipers are working themselves overtime. And then all of a sudden, one of my wipers goes, whoosh, and then flies into a cornfield, right? And like far away. I don't even know. The
cornfield aspect of it is one I hadn't heard, and that makes it even more frightening.
Yeah. Well, and I'm sort of an indoorsy type, always have been. So I am not going to go and try to find my windshield wiper in a cornfield.
Right.
And I don't know how windshield wipers work. So like, what am I going to do? Oh, should be fine because it's the passenger side, right? So it's probably okay. But then I turned it back on because it was so bad that I couldn't see. And it was like the little nub was going, and like scratching my windshield.
So you're in a car with a guy you have a clown crush on, near a cornfield, and there is nails on a chalkboard sound constantly going on. This just sounds like it's a recipe for disaster.
I know, and see, my head never went there. His probably did.
Yeah.
Because I didn't I avoided anything scary at all.
Yeah.
He's helped me acclimate just a little bit, so I can watch sort of scary things now. But like, it was never even a thought in my head. I was just like, I'm thinking more like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to replace my windshield. So he's like, hold on, I got this. And he took a couple of alien heads. I remember specifically alien heads.
Yeah.
And he put them over the top of it, and he took a 260, wrapped it around. And I'm like, this guy, he fixes things with balloons. It's totally for me. And I didn't realize that like all twisters do that.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just, I mean, what else do we have laying around that can actually function? Yeah.
But it was kind of cute. It was like this really like little a combination handyman DIY hack and artwork all at the same time. It's like all this uninflated stuff. But I was like, you know what?
Right.
I think this is about halfway through the date, right?
Yeah.
So maybe 6 hours?
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And then I think the thing that really, and I don't know if you've ever heard this story, the thing that made me really fall for him is he's staying at a friend of mine's house. And because like we didn't know each other like at all. So I'm not going to have this guy stay at my house.
Right.
And I was actually, long story, my mom and I were roommates. And she made it clear that I wasn't living with her and she wasn't living with me. She needed a roommate and I needed a place to stay.
Okay.
Because it really was. It got weird when she started to do my laundry and I had to stop her from doing it. I'm like, we are roommates. Don't do my laundry. Because I'm like 37 at this point. Right. So I lost my train of thought because I was thinking that this story is getting too long. Okay. So he's not going to stay at my house.
Right.
Because that would be weird. And so stays at my friend's house. And they had to leave for some reason. So she's like, just go out of the garage and you turn this thing and it'll close the garage door and lock it. Well, that was like by the back door and he had to go all the way through the garage to get to the garage door and get out. So he closed it and he went really, really fast. And he did one of those like stuntman dive rolls. Like the
Indiana Jones thing, slide underneath.
I was like, oh yeah, what's up with this? And then it was just really impressive. And then he explained like, no, there was a reason I did that. And, but still, I mean, there are other ways he could have done that. That was just impressive. And
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And he also would ask me what my favorite candy is. And I'm like, well, I shouldn't have chocolate. It was like, I don't know. I went like my whole life thinking I was allergic to stuff when I wasn't really. But so yeah, I like those bottle caps, right? So he went to a candy warehouse here, got like a dozen bottle caps and wrapped them up with like he braided puff 260s, wrapped them up in a little bow.
Aww.
And gave those to me instead of flowers because he knows that I think giving somebody flowers is kind of silly, and I really am allergic to a lot of flowers. So right. So I just thought, all right, he listens, he plans ahead, he does the stuntman role, he is artistic, he is clever. I mean,
I mean, I'm trying to count here. Is that a quintuple threat? Where are we at now?
Yeah, I don't know. A million threat.
That's a million threat.
It was just a lot of really good things happened on our first date. We saw a movie that we loved, A Mighty Wind, Christopher Guest. So anything with Christopher Guest, of course, is wonderful. And then we went to Tower Records. May you rest in peace, Tower Records. And we bought a Weird Al album.
Wow.
And found our favorite song. So how perfect of a date is that?
This is
I mean, it only
absolutely
took
perfect.
12 and a half hours
I,
to get the
I
perfect date.
I feel a little inadequate, honestly. I got to step up my game. I'm like over here taking notes. I'm like, okay, yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
I think you just have less time on your hands, Dave.
This is true. I spent
I
all my
wasn't very
time
busy back then.
setting up studios. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is great. In a bit, I want to talk a little bit about balloon storytelling. But
Okay.
first, this is a good time in the show to take a quick peek into my next pack of Pops trading cards. I'm very excited about this. So I mentioned this last week. I'm going to say it one more time. I got very excited about this idea, and I had Jeremy Johnson make me these stickers before I could afford to pay him. Oh, which, by the way, Jeremy, this week I can finally afford to pay you. So send me a message with how much I owe you for the stickers. But please go to popstrading.com, popstradingcards.com, I believe is the link. I'll put it in the description and support them because they are supporting me, and I absolutely love them. So here we go. I'm going to open up. So Jeremy made these custom little packs just for me. Every pack has a sticker in it and my card, which is that card. In addition to whatever we're going to discover right now. What is it that's so satisfying about peeling open? Oh, it's so good. Why is it so good just peeling open a pack of cards? Okay, here we go. All right, we got my sticker. I'm going to put that down there. And here we go. I got a Dave Brenn card, you guys. What are the chances? Okay, after that, we got, I got one of the cameo cards of Cowboy Dan. I don't know who Cowboy Dan is. We'll have to you guys will have to tell me who he is in the after party. That's right, this show has an after party. So if you want to be there, join in. We've got an Edward Daxon. I got one of him last week, so now I got two, which means officially I can trade away an Edward Daxon. If you don't have one, you let me know. And then we've got a Rebecca Canar. That's the first Rebecca that I've gotten. And I got a Katie Byrne. I think that might be the first Katie Byrne. I'm not really sure. I can't remember. And, of course, the Pops Trading card. Order card with the info for them, which you can't really see because my camera doesn't want to focus. I turned off autofocus on my webcam so that it doesn't like constantly go rah, 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 but that means I can't hold things close to the camera. That's okay. Awesome. Thank you so much, Jeremy and Lauren and Pops Trading Cards. Thank you to my live studio audience for being awesome. And of course, it is time to get back to my awesome, awesome guest, Annie Bannanie, covered in awesome sauce. I think is, if I'm not mistaken, that was your most favorite comment that someone gave you about your show.
Yes, and also that reminds me of my most favorite. I don't even know exactly what it is. It's a phrase, basted in regret sauce.
Ooh,
Is that
like
amazing?
That.
I heard that on the History Chicks podcast.
Yeah.
And by the way, I am a big fan of podcasts. So if anybody wants a new podcast to listen to, you let me know, or you send me ideas. I love it.
Well, I'll tell you what, this will be a good incentive for people. What seems to happen in the after party is we just go for, I don't know, an extra hour and change. Last week, Robbie was my guest, and he just kept the energy going, and he actually taught some new balloon techniques. So that was a thing that only the after party people got access to. So Annie, if you want to share your favorite podcast with us in the after party, that would be great. And just provide a little bit more incentive for you folks to come and watch live, which is always great. So tell me a little bit about balloon storytelling. How did you get that name? How did you start kind of down that road? And
I think it's because no matter what I wear or what I do, I'm not a person to say, oh, look, an action figure, right? So you know how kids just like the idea of an action figure? I just always, that bored me. And I didn't really even like it as a kid, because if I had a doll, it was one of those where you could do her hair, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, so I come from a theater background, so if I'm going to make you into a knight, well, you're going to have a knighting ceremony.
Right.
And it started with that, and it just got weirder from there. And
so just like at your twisting gigs, kind of like
yeah,
you started adding some more story element. That's a
yeah,
great approach. Yeah.
it was really, I guess, freeing. I didn't realize that not everybody did that. And then I'm like, oh, not everybody does that? Cool. And it was also easier than, I didn't like once I learned cartoon characters,
Yeah.
then all anybody asked me for was, can you make SpongeBob? Can you make SpongeBob holding the thing?
Right.
Can you make SpongeBob on a motorcycle? I'm like, not only is that a big pain in my butt, I really don't think that's very creative.
Right. Yeah.
Seriously. So it always would mess up. I've always had a hard time managing my time during a gig. So, because then I'll spend I won't get something right, and I'll spend 20 minutes on one sculpture, and
Right.
you let the ego get in the way, and then you're like, crap, I have 20 more to do, and I have 10 minutes.
Right.
So, right. So I've been really, so every time that somebody would ask me for a cartoon, I just decided I would stop doing them. And like, what else can I do that's interesting, that's not cartoons? And it all became all about the costumes. So, I did the when I finally figured out how to make butterfly wings, it was literally a couple of loops. I would shape them, and then I would put uninflated 260s around them.
Right.
It was, not that impressive, but to me, I just thought I was awesome.
Yeah.
Because, at first I didn't really have a lot of, I didn't know any other balloon twisters for a year when I first started.
Oh, wow.
And and that's why when I did find other balloon twisters, I found Balloon Magic Magazine, and I literally sat in the store, in our local balloon store, for hours at a time looking at their Balloon Magic magazines and learning the sculptures.
Right.
So because I didn't know you could actually buy them.
Right.
Right. I just thought, oh, this is a trade magazine, and normal people can't buy these, but look, I'll just go ahead and
Right.
It was before the internet. Well, not really, but
Yeah.
back in the BHQ days when we used to use ASCII characters to
Yeah.
try to figure out, show people what, I did find Balloon HQ about a year in.
Yeah.
That was nice. But yeah, it was all about so we're going to have a knighting ceremony. Well, and then you get to be the princess. And then, the princess, of course, saves herself because,
Right.
that whole patriarchy thing.
Yeah.
And so
You're doing your part, Annie. I love it. Yes.
princesses always save themselves. Nobody is, even everybody gets a part. Now, one of the things that is important to me is that every kid on my stage gets a moment.
Yeah.
And, this is 20 years later. So I've really put some thought into it now. But if somebody's going to be on my stage, I see musicians get a volunteer, hand them something, and then
Annie,
ignore them.
this is kind of a family show, so don't use dirty words, please.
Yeah.
Sorry to any musicians out there.
I didn't know that my husband was started as a magician, and he would not admit it for the longest time. And he kept saying, well, it's because I'm branding myself as a balloon artist. And, but the guy is an amazing magician and total nerdy about it too. So, he knows all this crazy stuff, but it's he had this total life before we ever met.
Right.
He was, well, I'm 5 years older than he is. I was 37. So you do the math. However old when we met. So we both had, completely different lives before. And so balloons got us together. So that was cool.
Right.
But forgot what I was going. Oh yeah, magicians. I taught a class at Kidabra, and the subtitle was "Your volunteer is not a table."
Oh, that's a good good class title. Yeah.
It was the subtitle because Mark wouldn't let me put that as the title because apparently it's not nice enough. Because Mark's a really nice guy, bless him. I love him to death.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he's okay. So I'm pretty careful about not offending people. He's super uber duper careful.
Right.
So yeah. So mine was just a little bit, but he was okay that if I subtitled it that. But that's what I don't want people to put people on stage for them. I am not the star of my show. The kids are the star of my show.
Right.
And it's kind of lazy too, because they do all the work. I know that what's going to be funny, and I set it up, and then I just let go, because they're
Right.
amazing. And some of the best stuff comes from them. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
guess it's because I'm used to working in theater, where hardly ever am I, even if I'm the star of a scene, or even the star of a play, or a music, a musical theater thing. I can't think of the word musical. It's been a while. Um, I'm still not the only person in that show.
Right.
And even the star of the show is not the most important person in that show, because that's not how musicals work. That's not how plays work. Theater, it's not how it works.
Right.
So I've just always been kind of a team player like that. And I'm actually more creative in a team than I am in, by myself. Buster can go and like drive around for 3 days and think about something, and then ta-da, he's got like a fully formed routine. Right. And I talk it out.
Right. It's kind of like, it's like I'm not a great improviser in terms of like getting on stage with comedians, but that's what I've heard about improv, is like the best improvisers aren't necessarily the funniest people. They're the people that listen the best, and like, and they set up their fellow performers for a good moment. Right.
And it's even more than that. It's setting up the scene, because it's like when you're playing basketball, and sometimes somebody gets to make the basket.
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't. Sometimes you're the one that hands the guy the ball, or does that's all I know about basketball.
Right.
And then you make a touchdown, and everybody's really happy.
Woo! We got 3 under par.
Exactly.
Woo! Yeah.
And I never
love
understood
basketball
golf.
too,
Don't you want more points?
Yeah.
I don't get that. Why is that good? Yeah. I've never cared enough to learn, so I really don't. Yeah. I liked ice hockey. I played ice hockey. I was left wing, but mostly because I really like to wear all these pads and be able to like slam into people, and it didn't hurt. So,
this is new information about you for me, and I absolutely love that I know this now. Bannanie played ice hockey. Dang, I got to go back and re-record my intro.
We were the worst team ever. We were a girls' team, and I didn't want to work hard enough to like try out for the local, because they would let girls on the boys' team. It's not like, anything. They were at least that progressive when I was younger, like in the 70s and 80s. But I didn't want to work that hard. And my mom, of course, couldn't afford any of the stuff either. And so I joined a girls' team, and our youngest player was 4, and our oldest player was like 62. Wow. And we hardly ever practiced, and we were really super bad. So, but I loved, so you get going as fast as you can. You go about 2/3 across the ice, and then you slam onto the ice, and then you slide, and it's really fun. Yeah, I don't think we ever won a game.
No.
Yeah, but
kids out there that are starting your hockey career, just don't listen to any of the advice Annie has given you.
And always wear your face mask, because I have a scar right here from a puck.
Oh.
And then I was the first injury, and then my mom, I said, well, but then I want to be a goalie. She's like, no, you're keeping your teeth.
Yeah.
So yeah.
If you're afraid of pucks, that is the last place you want to be. They all go there.
I know. Yeah. Especially because no one on our team could play. So yeah. So I'm blinding myself with my hair. I may put it back.
I do that a lot too. Well, I actually learned how to make my own hair product lately.
Nice.
I couldn't go and get the stuff I wanted. Apparently, cornstarch and conditioner mixed together is exactly the same as whatever volumizer product you buy in the world. Like, it's essentially that with like a few other ingredients like coconut oil and stuff.
Well, do the bees like you if you do that? Because isn't cornstarch like sweet or something?
Is it? I don't know.
I don't know. I could be totally wrong. I mean, I don't cook. It's crazy.
But my hair stays. I mean, I got crazy volume.
Gorgeous.
Look at that. It just
you.
Stays up. There we go. Annie, this is delightful. We're coming close to the end of the show, but I want to ask you, what are you excited about or looking forward to in the next? Let's keep it short. Let's say the next week. What are you excited about?
Oh gosh, in the next week.
I mean, you can go longer term if you don't have something in the next week. Yeah.
Halloween. I'm really excited about Halloween.
Yeah.
I'm learning about Mr. and Mrs. Claus and maybe how to do it. That's exciting.
Ooh. Would that be the first time?
Yeah.
Ever?
So,
cool.
And we're thinking now's a good time since we have the time.
Yeah.
I'm excited about the health coaching.
Yeah. Oh,
So
actually, yeah, we
awesome.
have a couple of minutes, and I would love to talk about that. So why don't you tell me a little bit about that? Because you are like half the person you used to be, as is Lisa and Suzanne Herring, and I know a bunch of other folks have been on the program. So tell me about it.
We're getting the entertainer world healthy, one balloon twister at a time.
God bless you. God bless you.
Yeah, I was had a hip replacement at 52. That was not good. You should not. Christopher T. Magician calls me hip surgery young, and that's the very strangest description I've ever had of myself.
Yeah.
So yeah, and the doctor said, well, this is what you have to look forward to if you don't lose weight. I'm like, I've tried. I'm broken. I can't lose weight, and I've tried it. I just don't. And he's like, okay, well, you're going to have to stop performing pretty soon because that's part of the reason your joints are going, because you're treating your body so badly. And I'm like, oh, great. So I have to get a job. And usually that's how I scare myself into action.
Right.
If I'm not booking enough gigs, I warn myself, well, if not, you're going to have to go get a job. No! So it was like my life was over. I'd worked so hard to be a full-timer, and then now I was going to have to stop. So Suzanne Herring, I ran into her at a gig, and she's like, hey, I just lost a bunch of weight. And I'm like, Suzanne, I didn't know you were overweight. And then I guess she was 50 pounds overweight.
Wow.
Because she dressed well. And I'm like, yeah, okay, well, I'll try one more thing before I give up. And just say I did it. And then I did it. And then all of a sudden, I was losing weight. I felt great. That's amazing.
What's the name of the program?
Pounds. We all work with personal coaches.
Oh, okay.
So you have to call us, because if you go to the website, what's going to happen is you're going to go, oh my gosh, that looks amazing. And you're only going to see like 1/4 of what we offer, because it's, a coach, community, education, the food, just 4 parts. And that's what makes it work. Because otherwise it's just a diet. And I don't care how good a diet is. It could be the best nutrition ever. If you don't learn to put healthy habits in there, you're going to gain the weight back. It doesn't matter what you use. And so, so then I learned the healthy habits and became a coach. So I would have no excuse to put the weight back on. Right. And then that happened during COVID, because all I really wanted to do was go to Dr. Ben and Jerry at that point. I probably spent a couple $100 on Ben and Jerry's during March and maybe April. And so I thought, no, this is getting out of control. I am not going to gain this back, because like people are counting on me. So you did like the opposite, I feel like, of what the rest of the world did during COVID. I did actually.
Like, I'm actually going to lose weight. That's amazing.
Yeah. Well, I was actually maintaining at the time, but I have lost 5 more pounds since then, because I've got a new goal, because I got all excited. Somebody was doing 75 hard, which is this one guy. It's like this mental toughness thing. You do all these things every day. And if you don't do them every day in a specific way, you start over. And that was insane, because it's like working out for 3 hours a day. That is never happening in my life. Never. I just tell you, that would bore me to tears. But there's a lot in it about mental toughness. So I'm actually doing that. And part of what I'm doing is I want Michelle Obama arms. So,
ooh, dang, that's a good goal.
Yeah. So I'm plenty healthy, but I'm going to reduce my body fat percentage so my muscles will stand out.
Amazing.
And so I'm very excited about that. And
great. And so if people want to contact you to be a coach, what's the best way to get in touch with you about that?
Go to my Facebook page, and you can kind of see I share. And also, I just want to call out Lisa McIntyre is also a coach. She's not listening or anything, because she's like talking to somebody.
Yeah,
but
she'll
be really surprised when we do this.
Yeah.
You'll have to send her this, and we're like, Lisa's not paying attention.
Here, I'll spotlight her real quick. That'll really embarrass her.
Do you think she'll do it?
Lisa,
and not paying attention, and she's like,
she's like, what's going on? She has no idea why she's spotlighted right now.
I'm telling everybody you're a coach, Lisa. That's all. And that you're awesome. Huge inspiration right there.
Yeah.
Oh, so yeah, just go to our either Lisa's or mine or Suzanne's. Go to our Facebook page.
Amazing.
And I just got an idea. I got an idea, and this is totally not a commercial, but like this is how I'll sponsor your show today.
Ooh, okay.
You already have like amazing sponsors, and I feel like, you know, I'm not anywhere near as cool as Pop Trading Cards, and you know, and just that's true, Lauren. I'm not.
Pops
you guys are
pretty,
extra super.
Look at these cool cats.
And
Who
I'm
can
not
be
sure
as
what
cool
you
as
have
them?
on your head, but now I think you're
That's her sleeping
is that
mask.
an eye mask?
That's in
In
case
case she gets tired.
and she gets really bored of the show. She's gonna be like, I'm out of here.
This is
that is not the
wear.
mask the
I love
CDC
that.
is recommending, Lauren. Okay. Anyway, what's your idea?
Her eyes will stay healthy.
Yeah.
Anybody who heard about me on this show,
Yeah.
I will give, if they sign up with me, I will, as a thank you, give Dave Brenn show $25.
Do you hear that, people? The Dave Brenn show is doing great, but Dave Brenn is flat broke. So please use that. If you need to lose some weight, I mean, listen, this is going to be a completely, like, you didn't pay me to say this, but I'm genuinely saying this. It started with Suzanne. She was the first one that I saw. I did not recognize her. She was honestly a different person. And I felt the same way about you when I saw you at Twist and Shout the last time. And Lisa, I was like, did someone like come and suck all of the insides out of every balloon twister I know? This is like insane and amazing. And I love that you're helping to spread the word, and I love the community aspect of it. So yeah, definitely check that out if you want to get your life on a healthier track.
Yeah, and for me, it was all about health. I don't care if I weigh 500 pounds as long as I'm feeling healthy, but for me, it wouldn't work, you know? And then I realized that how dangerous it is to be not healthy, you know, and I know some super healthy people who are over the official BMI, but it's about what are you putting into your body? What I'm putting into my body, Ben and Jerry's, they're good guys. I like how they give to charity and stuff. I like how they run their company, but still, it's not something that you want to have at every meal, which is what I wanted to do when I was stressed. So, so I really, you know, there's so many people who, I watch people having heart attacks and stuff, and it runs in my family. And I went from a high risk to a low risk. And they won't say no risk because, you know, getting sued and litigation.
Yeah.
But seriously, you know, nobody's even worried about me anymore, even though I have a family history because of the way I'm eating. And so, yeah. So go ahead. Keep going.
I was going to say, just to kind of give an auditory version of what happened to Annie, is that her weight went like this. That sounds like it's bad, but it means her weight was going down. But her health was going like this. So, yeah. All right.
That's really wonderful. Also, I have something that I want to tell everybody about. This right here is what holds these. And these are ear savers. And this has been keeping me sane.
Ooh.
So they go on the back of your mask.
Oh, so your things don't clip on your ear, they clip on the thing?
Yeah. And so they're not, like, if you're just walking around, it's just easy to put them on your ears. But if those poor people, like, that work at hospitals, they have a hard time, like, they get really sore behind their ears. And so I make these and give them to a few people. So if you guys know anybody at a hospital or somebody who has, like, a minimum wage job and has to wear a mask, and
let Annie know. This is a great product, a great idea,
and they're free. I'm not selling them.
Annie, you were a great guest. Thank you so much for being here. Remember, follow me on Facebook, follow me on Instagram. If you want to support the show on Patreon, please do. If you can't afford to support the show financially, It doesn't matter if you're watching the recording right now on YouTube. The best thing you can do is hit like and subscribe. It absolutely helps me out. It helps boost my numbers on YouTube, and that helps make me money. As I have been saying over the last couple of weeks, I have learned that I started this show with the intention of having a show for myself, and I realized that what actually made this at all like valuable for my soul was hanging out with all of these cool cats. And we're going to hang out for another little bit here after the show in the live party, which you're not going to get to see because we're going to end the show right here in just a second. But Annie, if you don't mind, can we go out again with one more awesome version of you singing the Dave Brenn Show theme song?
Yes.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I was wondering if I could make a talk show, and apparently I can. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.
It's the Dave Brenn Show, and it's got great guests and MC rhymes with any Bannanie. Oh, yeah.
Great show, everybody! Woo!